beautiful people. This is Pretty Girl Love Trap content. This is my recap / review of We Own This City, Part 6, the final installment. So, you guys, this is quite heartbreaking. I mean, the ending was a lot for your girl, okay? And I don't know, like, let's see if this show turns into another, wire-ish series. It's been talks that they are kind of, possibly testing this out. So we'll see. But how much corruption can we really handle? Okay, this is based on a true story. So, whew, if y'all turn some fiction up on HBO, like I can imagine, like where stories can go, y'all. But y'all, let's get into this part. All right, it starts off your boy Wayne. He's in an interrogation room, okay? And he's going to pretty much tell the feds, like, yo, I'm innocent. They're like, boy, if you don't get your ass out of here. Hey, boy, who you fooling? Come on, stop playing with us. Stop playing with us, okay? And Wayne was like, yeah, there's things that goes on in the department, but I am squeaky clean, okay? Like, I ain't had no parts of whatever y'all think I have parts of, okay? I'm innocent. I'm a great cop. I'm a great cop. And look here. Don't y'all feel like it's a little bit weird that the most decorated officer in this department has got himself swooped up all into this? And I'm like, Wayne, you really trying to pull a conspiracy card, bruh? Like, nah. Nah, bruh, okay? So they proceed to ask him about the Burley case, okay? And that was a case where, he had someone plant some drugs, in a vehicle that resulted in the death of an elderly man. He was like, bruh, I did not plant those drugs, but I ain't snitching either. I ain't telling y'all who did it, but it wasn't me, okay? Call me Shaggy because it was not me, all right? And so we see the feds, they, having a conversation in their office. They was like, okay, let's do process of elimination. Who else was there? Okay, so they know Gwen was there, and they knew, Suter was there. Okay, and Suter's name was on the evidence paperwork, but Gwen, he was like, an early, cooperator. You know what I'm saying? Like he, helped them with a lot, so they kind of eliminated him real quick. So let's go ahead and, talk to your boy Sean. Okay, so we see Sean up in there, and they let him know, like, yo, bro, you are not a target. You're a witness, but we need to know, excuse me, the details of the Burley case. I know it's been a long time, but please, let's come on, jog your memory for me, bruh. And he was like, well, what's going on? Am I gonna lose my job over this? Like, what's going on? And so they was like, well, we had heard that, yeah, somebody said that you planted drugs in this vehicle. He was like, what? Me? And so they was like, we don't believe this person, but we have to question you, okay? And so he was just like, looking like, Lord Jesus, what's going on here? And I'm like, I'm looking at the feds because if I remember quickly, and looking back in the conversation with with your boy Wayne, he said he ain't telling who did it. So when they go to Sean, they're telling him like somebody told us you did it. And I'm like, no, that ain't really exactly the deal. So are y'all trying to trip Sean up? Because it could have been a whole nother person. It could have really been Gwen. You don't know. But y'all just go ahead and just tell Sean like, oh, somebody said you did it. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at y'all side-eyed, okay? So we see Wayne, we flash it back. So we see him on the streets, okay? Him and the crew, they hem up somebody who's, running away, and he throws a gun, in the alley, a little whatever. And so they, they get him and they start questioning him. And so they find the gun. So he asked Wayne, like, bro, okay, if y'all gonna hit me up, let me have somebody call to get this bail money together. So he lets him call somebody. He was like, y'all, they done pinned the gun on me. So, come get me out. So Wayne was like, hold on, bruh. You trying to call us dirty? Like, you trying to say we trying to frame you? Like, that ain't what we do. that ain't what we do. Like we not bad cops over here. He over here talking to himself. So Wayne just really getting real agitated at this point. I think, just he going through something right now, y'all. So he's getting a little sensitive, all right? So we see Wayne, with his lawyer, because we're flashing back to the interrogation. And he was like, Wayne, everybody's talking. So what you mean, everybody? He's like, my guys, they wouldn't talk. They wouldn't talk. And his lawyer was like, you know what? I know they over there singing like canaries over there. Like, they is talking, bruh. Talking more like more than Oprah. Just Wendy Williams, Ricky Lake, everybody. They just talking their behinds off, okay? So he was just like, oh, these mother suckers. They over there snitching. I'm over here keeping it 10 toes down. I was like, yeah, Wayne, you should have been talking too. So, we see that everybody's getting questioned about Wayne and, how he is. And, a couple of them dudes, they were saying like, hey, I've been trying to get away from Wayne for a while. Like, I'm like, oh, really? I ain't see none of that. But, they will just explain like, yo, he was different. Like, most people, when we confiscate drugs, we'll throw it off the highway because we didn't want to, do all that paperwork and procedure. But Wayne, oh, he was selling them things. He was selling them things hard, okay? And so one of the dudes, I can't remember which one, but he was like, yeah, he had the nerve to ask me, do I have any family members that sell dope so I can sell it to them? Mom, he was like, oh, you found that real disrespectful. I'm like, I mean, can't blame a man for trying. Oh, he was like, you know what else? I caught old dude up in there. Wayne was over there repackaging the drugs to sell. He was over there like he at the trap house in the office. And I'm like, oh, dang, Wayne was really getting it in. They was like, you know what? He had this bail bonds friend. He had this bail bondsman. They was hanging real tight. They always hang together. They was like, tell me more about him. So next thing we see, police, boom, hands up. They arrest your boy Donnie, okay? So we had, 2016, okay? This is like, a year before everything's going down, all right? So Wayne, we see him at the court. He on the stand. And, this whole Stevenson case, long story short, dropped the ball, okay? So they're trying to, run down the, events. And, yeah, they dropped the case because he got charged pretty much detention with no cause. He explained like, hey, we stopped him. We thought something was up. And, we just wanted to talk to him, but they kind of questioned him more. And he low-key pretty much said, yeah, we all just surrounded the vehicle. And so that really alarmed everybody else. So, of course, the case got dropped. And so when, he's talking to Stevenson's lawyer afterwards, he was like, yeah, what about that key found? We had a whole kilo for you guys. Like, there was drugs involved. Why is this man free? He was like, well, this fruit's from a poisonous tree. Long story short, Wayne, your word out here don't mean nothing, okay? You wonder why Stevenson's a big fish? A big fish didn't go to the feds because your name was attached to it. And we don't trust you, okay? We all know you robbing and stealing up in here. So, bruh, they don't want nothing to do with you. So, he feeling some type of way like, oh, I got stain on my name. Like, what's going on here, okay? So, we see everybody, reviewing the consent decree and, seeing what it all entails. And, of course, we see the commissioner and the mayor meet. And she was pretty much telling the commissioner, like, you got to find some cuts. He was like, cuts? Cuts? We got officers out here that ain't trying to police because they're scared of the Freddie Gray situation. They're scared to lock people up because they don't want to get any, charges against them. And so the officers that do want to work and that does give us results, they are bringing in the big cases. And yes, we need overtime for them because they have to make up the time from the officers that don't want to work and that's scared to get out these vehicles. She was like, I don't care, bro. Make them cuts, all right? So, of course, he frustrated. And so, once he, leaves the office, he's going down the elevator and he's telling, one of his colleagues, he's like, you know what? The way they do things around here, I'm going to be fired right before this gun trace task force, this whole trial starts. Yeah, they're going to do away with me because that's how it works around here, okay? And so we see Wayne. He's still at the courthouse, y'all. And he, shows up and tell Ivan Bates, he was the defense attorney for Stevenson. He was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with the gun trace task force. Like, they not really appreciate me up in here in this department. That my name is over here, just real stank in these streets. And I don't appreciate it. And he's looking at him like, Wayne, you tripping, like, bro, like, we don't feel sorry for you. We do not feel sorry for you, okay? So we see Suter, okay? He's talking to his lawyer, and he was like, hey, you're going to be on the stand, okay? They're going to call you, but I also need you to understand that not only you're going to be probably questioned about this whole situation with Burley, but if there are any other questions that they may have pertaining to any other thing, you need to answer those things, bro. You need to answer all those questions. So I need you to get your ish together. So, of course, Suter's like, oh, Lord, like, he flashing back to the whole, situation at the car wash. I'm like, Suter? Bruh. I don't know what to say at this point. So we see the FBI, they questioning Donnie. And Donnie was like, I'll tell you guys anything you want to hear. My mouth is going to be as open and as wide as possible for you guys because I'm here to help, okay? Donnie don't have no qualms about snitching on your boy Wayne, okay? And he was like, you know what? Your boy gave me like $1 million worth of drugs to sell. He gave me more drugs than I could handle. I couldn't even sell all the drugs, okay? And it was pure profit because you know what? He was stealing those drugs. So he didn't have to pay or put no down payment or get no connect. He literally was making money hands over fist. And he was like, you know what? You guys forgot something. There was 3 kilos of coke in the baseboard under the radiator. So yeah, you're welcome. And they was like, oh wow, thank you for the information. He was like, you guys were welcomed, okay? So we see Nicole over there. And she low-key realizing that this consent decree is not going to do a darn thing, okay? Her hands are tied, and yeah, it sounds good, but it's really not going to change anything. And so she has a lot of things going on in her brain as well. So we see Sean over there in bed, and he can't sleep. A lot of sleepless nights, okay? Because he's stressed up in his chest, okay? And we see Shrimpshire. He gets arrested finally, okay? And he was like, you know what, can I at least call somebody? He was like, yeah, you want to call your fiance? Go ahead. He's about to give out the number. He was like, nah, bro, we got the number. He was like, oh, y'all been having me on the wire? Y'all have me on the wire, bro? I'm like, dang, I know his fiance done by court. I'm just saying this. You got to be more careful, okay? And so he gets in the back of the police car. Of course, they find some drugs. And I'm like, why you got that much drugs on you, bro? You supposed to be a top dog. And you over here got weight on you like that? Just at the convenience store? Like, what's you doing? So he was like, hey, I suggest y'all just go ahead, take this, flip it, and buy something nice for your wife with this. And they was just like, what? He was like, well, Gladstone hit me up last week and did it. So like, oh, really? Gladstone did this? Like, So, of course, the feds started investigating Keith Gladstone, okay? And we find out him and Wayne has been working together off and on throughout the years. And, they also find out there's been, situation where BB guns will come up in certain cases. And apparently the officers will have some BB guns on file, just in case they have situations where shootings go awry and they need, guns at the scene, okay? And so they discussed this case where your boy Wayne ran over somebody and Gladstone was, there. Another officer remembered him being there. And yeah, coincidentally, a BB gun was found there. So if you guys remember a couple episodes ago, Wayne called, oh boy, hey, I need a gun. He put it underneath the, truck and they quote unquote, they found it very easily. So yeah, they're tying all of these things up and wrapping it up in a pretty little bow. So they was like, okay, well, where's your boy Gladstone? Like, where is he at? So Gladstone realized the block was hot and he ended up retiring right before they started locking up some clothes dude. So he was like, I ain't got time for this, bro. I need to get my money and go. All right. So Wayne, he over there telling his boss he want to transfer to the warrant apprehension department because he ain't being appreciated. And she like, nah, bruh, like, what are you talking about? When you went on leave a few months ago, it was dry out here in these streets. These numbers were hella low. These superiors want us to work. They want you to work because you get results. He was like, nah, 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 nah. I'm good. I'm good. But she had convinced him. She convinced him, like, nah, bro, we need you to stay on. Cause you working hard for the money, okay? So we see Sean Suter. He talking to his lawyer on the phone, and he was like, "Yeah, bruh, I'm gonna need you to brush up and just take a look at all the reports, especially the report with Burley. Yeah, just brush up against, brush up and you know figure it out and run through it because you're gonna have to recant all of this on the stand. We know it's been a while, so that's why I need you to go ahead and look at these notes, okay?" So he's like, "Okay, cool, whatever." So we see Nicole and Ahmed. They go to court and they're pretty much just seeing the system, work. And it's very frustrating at this point. And you could tell it's kind of affecting her. And he was like, I thought you said, you don't make this your everything. And I remember her saying that a few episodes ago. She was telling him, I don't make this my everything. And I remember feeling like, dang, she seemed kind of cold. But I was like, oh, Nicole, you was low-key lying to yourself, girl. This is low-key your everything. You are hella mad and frustrated, not understand. So don't be trying to play it off, girl. Don't suppress them feelings. So Sean and his partner, they go out to investigate this tip that they got from a year-old case, okay? And so they're in the car riding around and getting it, whatever. And so they passed by this alley, and he was like, hold up, I see somebody. So they kind of get out. He was like, I saw a dude hunched over in a black leather coat, it had a little white stripes. So they get out, and they see some trash bags in there. It's like some, two black trash bags, one white, one in the middle, and two other ones on top. So his partner was like, Sean, I think you was talking about these trash bags. He was like, no, 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 it was a person. He was like, all right, bro, if you say so. But he looked at him like, you tripping a little bit. So he was like, you know what? We can't find anything. Let's just come back in 20. So he ends up showing his partner his old post, just going down memory lane. Is really feeling real grim in this episode at this point. I'm like, oh, Lord, what is going to happen up in here? Okay, I already kind of knew what's going to happen, so I'm just really bracing myself. So we see them, going back to the spot. And so he's pretty much setting up this scene. So we see him showing, telling his partner, like, hey, I'm going to need you to go here in this corner. Suter, he goes ahead and goes behind this little white van. And so he's telling his partner, hold on, gotta see something. So he yells out, stop, wait, don't shoot, blah, blah, blah. So he ends up, going into the little alley. We hear a few shots. His, officer came running, and we see Sean on the ground. So after that, we cut to Nicole, okay? Nicole, she says, I'm out of here, bruh. So she's resigning. She got her white box. She throwing her stuff in there. And Ahmed was like, really, bruh? You just gonna leave like that? Like, my training ends now? She was like, yeah, it's your turn now, fool. Like, I'm done. I'm stressed. I'm tired. Bye-bye, okay? And so now we see the feds. They interrogate. And, Gladstone, he over there in that purple jumpsuit, okay? They done got him. And it was like, bruh, like, what's up with you risking your career for your boy Wayne? Like, why did you do that? That was so dumb. He was like, well, I grew up with some brothers. And when, after that, I went into the force and then went to the army. So I always had situations where I felt brotherhood, okay? And yeah, the force, it felt like a fraternity. So yeah, that's why I risked my career because I felt like Wayne would do the same for me. And I'm like, bro, you need a hug. Like, come on. Like, what's going on here? Okay, this is dumb. Do you got a wife and kids? Because how you going to explain that to her? So, we see the situation with Sean, okay? Cops, they're all, there just surrounding him. We see helicopters. We see his partner trying to resuscitate him. And the officers like, come on, give us a description. Like, where's the perp? How does he look? And the partner was like, clueless, like, I don't have nothing to give you guys. Like, I don't know what's going on. And they realized Sean was still holding his radio in one hand and his gun, he fell on top of his gun on his right side. So it does not really coincide with just it just looks all fishy. Like, it's like, what's going on here? So the feds, they find out and they get the call about Sean. And so they was like, dang, like, we were just about to grand jury him tomorrow morning. So they looking like, is this a suicide attempt, or is this an assassination attempt? Because he was told he wasn't a target. And so one of the feds was like, well, Raham was actually going to testify that Sean took money with, with Wayne and them. She was like, oh, but would that be enough to commit suicide? He was like, for some cops, yeah, that's enough. So we see, that Sean Suiter's case was ruled as a suicide. And, he tried to make it staged as if it was a homicide so his family could collect the benefits. But I did watch most of the documentary on Sean Suiter, which is called The Slow Hustle. And if you watch it, when I watched it, it left me very conflicted because it was very compelling in terms of the evidence. It would probably lead you to believe like a 50-50 situation. Like, it looks like it could be a suicide. Is evidence against that, but it's also evidence that it could not have been a suicide. So it's very like, leave this into your own interpretation. And they also include his wife and kids, in the interview and in the documentary. So if you have the stomach for this, hey, watch it, okay? So we see everybody getting sentenced. We see Wayne, he over there, he plead guilty, and he talking about he's sorry for 2004 and whatnot, but he ended up getting 25 years because he didn't want to snitch, he didn't want to cooperate. So I guess Thug Life Award goes to your boy Wayne Jenkins, okay? We see Ram, he gets 12 years. Gondo gets 10 of them things. Warden Hendricks gets 7 because, they was cooperating too. And Allers, he pleaded not guilty, but he still got them 15 years, okay? And yeah, the commissioner, he ended up getting fired 3 days before the trial started. The deputy commissioner, he resigned because, of course, he got caught up in the whole situation with Ram, and just allowing him to kind of change the facts, if you will. So yeah, he's gone, but he could have actually got a promotion if he was doing the right thing or didn't get caught up. But yeah, he resigned to save face. And Commissioner DeSoto is the new appointed commissioner by the mayor. And yeah, he served 4 whole months. 4 whole months. And yeah, he ended up getting fired, and because he got caught up in some tax evasion stuff too. But he was so caught, I have no tolerance, for bad behavior. And I'm like, bro, you are the bad behavior. And then we see Mayor Peel. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce her name. But yeah, a year later, she got convicted of tax evasion and fraud and sentenced to 3 years. Herschel and Taylor, they ended up taking the ish to trial. They took it to trial. They was like, you know what, we gonna test this thing out. It ain't work out because they ended up getting 18 years each. I was like, see, y'all should have been talking. But we see the aftermath of everything. More bodies are dead. It pretty much has been 300 slayings after 2015. 300 slayings a year. So almost a murder a day in Baltimore City, okay? And, the show goes back to the first raid that we was introduced to in episode 1, where they left off, a little mysterious situation where, we see Wayne kind of looking and staring at this closet, and, one of his, men was like, hey, what you find? And it ended up being drugs and money. And yeah, they wrap that up. And yeah, we see the end scene. Jenkins is over there getting, everybody riled up with a nice little speech. Everybody is in their uniform. We have pretty much all the officers there, giving him a standing ovation. And they started the series with a speech, and they're ending it with this speech. So they pretty much wrapped everything in a bow. Um, yeah, this was a very eye-opening um series, since it's based on a true story. It definitely gets you, or gets me, more intrigued and more interested in all the corruption, and it honestly, it reminds me a lot of The Wire. The Wire was very eye-opening to me, and how a lot of corruption and how things, tie into each other and is related. But yeah, this was very, very, very awesome to watch. And I appreciate the education and the entertainment. But you guys, drop down in the comments, subscribe to my channel, and please like this video. And I will see you guys on the next one. Toodles.